of getting experts, we are getting you the perspective of the police force. How are they dealing with it? Should we rely on them? What should you do? How are they grappling with this entire new milieu of scams that are doing? That's going to be our focus.
After that, we're actually taking a look at someone who's been a key part of shows that have won Indian households and global households over in the last few days. We're talking about Netflix's Royals. We have Lisa Mishra joining us as our person of interest. Let's take a look first at the headlines. My name is Toya Singh. Let's take a dive in. All right, first up, inside the new face of digital crime in India, fake jobs, police and profits, but real losses. Delhi police on how scammers are winning. Think you're too smart to be scammed? Well, we're hoping today's segment is going to convince you otherwise. Everyone needs to look out for themselves.
Singer, star, scene stellar as well, Lisa Mishra is here as our person of interest. You've seen her on programs and series, sort of performing roles, but did you know that she is the voice behind some of the most popular songs of last year as well, and perhaps many more in the pipeline? How is this rock star rocking it on the screen and on the stage, even in studios? We bring you a tete-a-tete with her.
And after that, on to the roads, we take a look at the MG Windsor EV Pro. Tech-laden, but does it deliver? Range, ride and reality check. The good, the bad and the gadgetry.
All right, let's start with the top story now. We've said this before and we'll say it again, because no matter how many advisories really go out, no matter how many arrests are made and no matter how many warnings signs scream out, how many phone call alerts you get, Indians keep getting scammed. WhatsApp investment groups, fake bookings, impersonation frauds, deepfake voice cloning, every day thousands are conned. Every hour someone loses their life savings.
Right. Cyber fraud in India is mutating constantly, faster than our laws sometimes and sharper than most people's instincts. This morning on The Breakfast Club, we thought it's important to go beyond just alerting you. We're putting the Delhi police on record. DCP Raja Bhantia joins us live for some direct, practical intelligence straight from the front lines of India's cybercrime war. Let's go over to him to understand a little bit more about the entire story. DCP, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on The Breakfast Club. Tell us, sir, Delhi Police's biggest challenge in tackling these crimes when you're trying to do it at a scale for the entire population of the NCR. What are the biggest challenges you come about?
Yeah, your question is very pertinent. There are many challenges that law enforcement agencies are facing in handling such crimes. The few of them are like, the fraudsters are easily getting SIM cards and they are easily able to open bank accounts, and the cheated amount is transferred into mule accounts. So the weak KYC norms, and many times the accounts are dummy accounts, and so this is the biggest challenge, because these are the things like the easy availability of SIM cards and bank accounts. It is instrumental in facilitation of any cyber crime. So easy availability of these things is a big challenge for us. And also when we are working on these cyber crimes, then mostly fraudsters use VPN, so it is not easy to trace them. And then the IPs, mostly they are using several apps for which IPs are traced outside the country. So internet based calling IP they are using, so that is also very difficult. And also we get a response from social media accounts like WhatsApp, Telegram on a very delayed basis. We don't get prompt replies, and we also don't get details of symmetric contacts from WhatsApp and Telegrams. And they also they provide only last login. So these are few technical challenges which we encounter during working out during solving the cyber crimes.
DCP Raja, I understand it is quite a task to deal with it at force, to deal with it at such a massive scale as well. Here on the program, we have talked several times about different kind of scams. But since we have you, would love to understand which are perhaps the most popular ones, can I say, these days? Which are the ones that really have got you and your department busy?
Yeah, you see, the field of cybercrime is also constantly evolving. There were Nigerian frauds that started, the era of cybercrime. Then they graduated to different genre of cybercrime. So digital arrest is one such thing to which many people has fallen prey to. Then the most common cyber fraud which people are falling victim to are stock market or investment frauds.
Right.
On Telegram channels, people are lured to invest in some schemes, and they are also lured that your money, their fraud exchange is created, and then their money will be invested and inflated profits will be shown, but then those are not actual profits, and people will be cheated when they want to actually withdraw the amount. Then there are other frauds also, there are impersonation over Facebook and WhatsApp. Some person, my WhatsApp contacts can get hacked, then a person will impersonate my WhatsApp account and he will demand money from my contacts, and they will be thinking that I am asking for money, so they will transfer money also. Fake FB profiles are created, and similarly requests for transferring money are made. So impersonation over Facebook and WhatsApp. Then there were frauds. People were getting messages that we are messaging from Try, your phone services or internet services will be stopped. Then there were bill payment fraud, that your electricity or your water will get disconnected if you don't pay bill right now. Then there were online hotel booking frauds. Then there were also frauds for booking of helicopters in Vaishno Devi. Then there are frauds like people get messages, like I also get messages that you can increase your credit card limit. So they provide some fraud link. Then there are job vacancy. So these are several cyber frauds. Then the phones are also hacked, through which all your contacts are getting hacked, and the fraudsters are getting hold of all your accounts and all your contacts.
Cops getting these calls as well.
Messages
This is
too,
just
but I'm
crazy.
actually really happy about that, because it means that they then are seeing what we're dealing with and can fight it accordingly. DCP Raja, walk us through a recent case, if you don't mind. So walk us through a recent case of cyber fraud, maybe cross-border cyber fraud in particular. Walk us through what the police did.
Yeah, there are when we were working on these kind of cyber crimes, like the investment frauds, and then they finally they were traced to some person, some fraudster sitting in China, or some digital arrest. They were mostly traced in Cambodia and Dubai. Then the investment frauds are also final trail leads to Dubai. So many fraudsters are sitting there and committing crime. So this is a challenge, and which police is also evolving its response to these challenges. And the best way for us to safeguard ourselves and our friends and family is that first of all, unknown international calls should not be answered, and it should not be responded to. And our personal information, the common cyber hygiene practices which we advise from time to time that people should follow is don't share your personal information on social media platforms. Don't share it on carelessly on various online platforms.
And staying on that topic, DCP Raja, we've spoken time and again about and done explainers on how to stay safe. But there is always so much, slip between the cup and the lip over there. But what is your, advice to people? What, according to you, are some of the safeguards that one must follow?
Yeah, even if we are these days, what happen is that we have to give our mobile numbers on Facebook or on Instagram, so that you want to log into your account, your phone number is connected to these social media profiles. So it should be kept to bare minimum, and we should know on which platforms we have given our personal numbers. And second thing is that even if you have given personal numbers, then unknown links or APK files should not be downloaded on your phone, and unknown links should not be clicked. Besides that, many times people do transactions, fraudsters prefer UPI for transaction, so that has to be also carefully done. and unknown people to whom we are first talking, and it is profit is very difficult in actual business. So someone is giving you easy option to make profit, then the bell should ring in your head that it must be fraud, because otherwise in real world profits are made by a lot of hard work and a lot of intelligence and wisdom. It's not just that anyone can sitting anywhere can make money. If that was so easy, then most of us would have been millionaires by now. So that should ring a bell that if someone is offering you easy money, then you should avoid that trap. So we should be avoiding traps. We should not be downloading APK files. We should not be clicking unknown links. We should not be randomly downloading files which are emailed to us. So these are practices, and then there few people also follow this practice that they keep two mobile numbers, and one of which they use in social media platform, and there is a separate mobile number which is connected to the bank accounts, and that hygiene of that number is very utmost importance. They maintain it, and that number which is connected to your bank account or your Aadhaar or your PAN number or your IDs is
That's
not
a good
shared.
tip, yeah.
So that is how we can also keep layers. One phone number for extreme personal use and one phone number for social media use.
DCP Raja, can you tell us now, take us behind the scenes a little bit. What are the steps involved on your side? So when a cyber fraud is reported, what are the steps that you follow in terms of reporting it, tracking it?
A typical cyber fraud is reported through the 1930 helpline which the government has created, and also through the cybercrime portal. You can also report a cybercrime to your nearest cybercrime police station. Like Delhi Police has a very good setup of handling cybercrimes. We have 15 police districts are there in Delhi, and each police district has a cybercrime police station. So you can approach a cybercrime police station. But the sure shot thing and the first thing one must do when he or she encounters a cyber crime is that he must report it on 1930. When you report it on 1930, it gets automatically transferred to the place, to the jurisdictional cybercrime police station, and also all the linked bank accounts are freezed. So that is easy, and your money will be safe. It will be freezed in all the accounts before it is being withdrawn. So as soon as someone feels that he has fallen trap to a cybercrime, then he should dial 1930 and report cybercrime on it.
All right, 1930, just underlining that for everybody listening in again. But, like we said, DCP Raja, we have so many advisories these days. Every phone call in India now starts with a warning of sorts that do not fall prey. Right. Despite all of these advisories, despite all of the efforts that are going on, we are where we are. So if the lawmakers are listening to you right now, if those in power are listening to you right now, what would you say is required? What stronger deterrents are required to fight out this absolute menace of cybercrime?
Stronger deterrent, which I, initially also I told that we need stronger KYC norms in banks and in issuing of mobile numbers. That has become so easy to open and so easy to get a SIM card or opening a bank account. Because if you are not able to get a SIM, or if you are not able to open a bank account, then it will be very difficult to conduct a cybercrime also. So it will be very useful if bank accounts are opened with great caution and mobile SIMs are also given with great caution. That will be a strong deterrent in commission of cybercrime. Then as for public, I can just say that more and more awareness is needed, and we should know that two things which drive cybercrime are two human emotions: greed and fear. The digital arrest is a kind of fear which we are encountering, in which they say that you are digitally arrested, whereas it is a well-known thing that digital arrest is no provision in law, no agency anywhere in the world makes a digital arrest. So that is one thing, fear. Then another thing is greed. Suppose people falling prey to investment frauds is an example of greed. As I told you earlier also, if making money was so easy, then most of us would have been millionaires by now. So we must, when it comes to cyberspace, online accounting, networking, transferring of money, then one must be neutral and see himself or herself that am I not falling prey to greed or fear. If he does that much, then I think he will be safer from most of the cyber crimes.
You're right. We've had guests on the show who've just talked about how scary it is to be
Yeah.
digital arrested. Can we ask you, please, DCP, what are the top 5 actionable steps? So for our audiences watching at home, the top 5 things they can do to avoid falling for cyber fraud.
Most, if I crystallize what I have said till now, the first thing will be don't fall prey to greed or fear. Don't think that investment is so easy and it is so easy to make money. Don't trust online investment schemes or online Telegram or WhatsApp groups which lure you with the investment options. You go with authorized platforms anywhere. Secondly, that again, you don't you have to be aware. You don't fall prey to these frauds. Like why will try message that your number is being stopped? Why will some electricity company will message? So we have to use common sense also. So first be free from greed and fear. Then don't be in a hurry. If something like some person has messaged you that I need money, if your known person is there, then you should call him or her and verify. Because if impersonation is being done, then you have to check why this person has never asked for money, why is he asking now? So you must double check. Thirdly, keep your mobile number, your bank account details safer. As I told you, if you can keep 2 mobile numbers, very good. If you can keep 2 bank accounts, very good. That will give you much protection needed from cyber crimes. And third, if cyber crime has happened, if you have started on a wrong road, then stop there. Don't keep on going there, and share it with your family and friends. Don't feel what will happen if other family members come to know. This is mostly happening with our senior citizens. They once they fell in a cyber fraudster's trap, then they don't share it with their families. They think, what will other members think of us, or how can I tell them? And then they keep on going down that road. So that is very essential that you family must create an environment of trust and confidence. And if someone has fallen prey to cybercrime, then he must be helped and the cybercrime must be reported. So don't keep on going down the wrong road. Stop there, take a reverse come in reverse route and share the information with police, share it with your family members. And fifth, don't download any unknown APK file, don't click on any unknown link, don't download any unknown file or any file coming from an untrusted source on your email or your WhatsApp.
That's some sound advice, DCP Raja. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. But another question that comes to mind is on how these scams are getting more and more believable these days and hard to sort of, for our antennas to go up, is because of how real they sound. A lot of it is the work of AI tools, deepfakes, voice cloning as well. Has that changed the kind of cybercrime you're seeing, having it, on a more mass scale?
Advent of AI, such things will be happen. So right now what we advise is that don't pick video call from unknown numbers. One should never pick video calls from unknown numbers because that is again like a honey trap kind of thing which the fraudster will lure you into. But now with AI coming, what will happen is that, and this has happened, that someone will make a video of your relative or your friend, and then he will send the video with the same voice, same video, and you will feel that that video recording has been sent to my friend or has been sent by my friend or my family member. So only red flag here is if that person asks you to do something, something unique which he has never asked you to do, or something distinct or something suspicious, or for asking for money which he has never asked before, or through this mode, that sending a video note to ask, then one must see if this thing is unique, this thing is feeling like out of place, then he must call that person and cross check.
Verify, yeah. Okay.
Okay, once again, DCP Raja, we want you to bring us some of the action that's taking place. So tell us a little bit about a successful sting operation that maybe the Delhi police has carried out recently where you've possibly outsmarted the scam that's taking place.
Yeah, there are many cases where we have worked with them. Suppose there was recently a case where a person was calling through VoIP over to another person for luring them into cybercrime, and then we were not able to get the detail, the location but then somehow that person disclosed a location that I am speaking from that place, but then he moved from that place and we were not able to pinpoint his location. But then someone from our team, he got the idea that he said that location, let us go to that location and use the CCTV camera from which we can see that person physically. And then we were able to see that person physically, and then we were able to track him through CCTV cameras. So it was a combination of cybercrime investigation coupled with CCTV cameras, and then we were able to track his home by connecting the dots through CCTV cameras.
Wow, just another day in the life of a cop in the national capital, I guess. On that note, we've got to thank you, Dr. Raja, DCP Raja, for joining us here on the program. Any sort of final message, any parting thoughts that you want to leave the citizens with?
Yeah, thank you so much for this session. I was happy. I'm happy, in fact, to share the knowledge, because it is our duty to safeguard our people from these cyber fraudsters and cyber crimes, which is increasing day by day, and its quantum is again going to increase in future. So we need to be cautious, and we need to be educated about these crimes, and it is constantly evolving. Suppose today it is an investment fraud, or it is a water or electricity or telecom service provider fake bill scam. Tomorrow it will be something new. So we have to be constantly thinking ourselves. We cannot be passive. We have to be actively thinking. If some phone call, some online activity is seemingly out of place, unique, remarkable, not usual, then there must be a alarm bell ringing in our head that will keep us safe and our families safe.
All right, we'll leave it there for the moment. That was DCP Raja, DCP of North here in the National Capital, sharing his experience on how the entire department actually tackles cybercrime and what we can sort of learn from that. Thank you so much, sir.
1930, that's the number we want to leave you with once again. Remember that that's the number to call, and as he said, don't feel fear, don't feel embarrassment. That is the typical way that people react. They then don't tell their family members, especially if you have older members in your family, grandparents. Reach out to them, make sure that they can always come and talk to you about such issues.
All right, let's move on from that now. And on TBC this morning, we give a shout out. This is to Geeta Samota, the CISF officer who's conquered the world's highest peak. Now, born in a modest family with 4 sisters in a village in Rajasthan, Geeta's journey began with a desire to sort of break barriers and inspire people. From being a promising hockey player to joining the Central Industrial Security Forces, Geeta's determination led her to mountaineering.
She became the first woman from any CAP, so Central Armed Police Force, to scale Mount Satopant and the Mount Lubush, and later she's also done the 7 Summits Challenge. Now on May 19th, Geeta achieved the most ambitious challenge of her mountaineering career. She successfully scaled Mount Everest. After that peak, where do you go? Well, with notable honors including the International Women's Day Award and Giving Wings to Dreams Award, Geeta's philosophy is mountains are a great leveler. Only the few ones who have that X factor can conquer those mighty heights.
Now, the CISF has been a steadfast supporter of her endeavors as well. Geeta's message to young girls is that simple dream she goes on to say something quite simply, that dream big, work hard and never really give up.
Awesome words coming in from her, and we wanted to leave you with those visuals just for an inspiring start to your day. Let's head into a quick break. On the other side of the break, we are switching focus entirely, dipping into the world of entertainment with the singer, star and now the scene stealer, Lisa Mishra. She is in the Netflix show Royals, but she tells us all about her journey right from Chicago, because she's actually someone who came from Chicago to India. She's migrated in a sense to India, built her career here, what it's taken her and what she hopes to do in the future. We bring you her words.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Khan back then was the president and appointed himself field marshal. Here, an Asim Munir is being appointed by the cabinet and by the prime minister, rank of field marshal. Please note this. He is not from any official military academy. He finished the careers, literally, that's what's reported, of 20 lieutenant generals. He forcibly removed, incarcerated and elected leader, a sitting prime minister in Imran Khan. Imran's close aide said that the Pakistan Democracy Act introduced in the US Parliament had recommended sanctions against Asim Munir for visa restrictions and asset freeze. Munir wants to take control of Pakistan before November 2025 to save himself from this bill. Pak Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif remains a puppet in the hands of Munir, who was in the driving seat and who had the steerings of the nation is very clearly seen. This man's been nicknamed the deceiver by his batchmates when he was a major or a junior officer. He was referred to, or he's continuously referred to in the military circles in Pakistan as Chachu Whiskey and erstwhile elsewhere as Mullah Munir. In these military circles, this is reported. He led Dehshatgardi in Vardi in areas like Balochistan, Waziristan, Pakhtunistan, Sindh, POK. ये जो दहशतगर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है, is a coinage which continues under his leadership in these regions. He tarnished the code of the uniform by equating it with service to religion rather than service to nation. You ask any person who's donned the uniform across the world would say we serve the country, not a particular religion, but this man changed that code. He spewed bigoted political venom and further insulted the uniform. Asim Munir could not prevent the Baloch Liberation Army capturing the Manguchot town in Balochistan. He could do nothing in the Jafar Express hijack when his own personnel were taken hostage. There are visuals of how the Pakistan army was battered at the hands of the BLA during the Jafar Express hijack incident. He saw patronized terror infrastructure demolished under Operation Sindoor. He moved or was moved to a bunker for 2 hours as 11 air bases were pounded, 20% of the entire armed forces infrastructure decimated in less than 25 minutes. He tried to humanize his failure and avoid scrutiny of strategic failures of radar gaps during Operation Sindoor. Bharat's strikes exposed Pakistan's weak ammunition. Munir's military stretched thin amid economic unrest. It's a nation that is going around with a begging bowl. 40% of this entire budget of Pakistan is consumed by the defense. He's charged with multiple acts of corruption and looting billions of dollars of Pakistan people's money and pocketing it himself. Bharat's drone warfare exposing Pakistan's defense vulnerabilities. He highlighted civilian casualties to reinforce Pakistan's victimhood narrative globally, according to intel sources, but not one salute or guard of honor to the braves in Pakistani uniform who have been consumed because of his act. Munir scrambling to secure financial aid. He is at the beck and call of Beijing. This J-35 fighters that has come at 50% discount, please be rest assured that he is sacrificing at the altar of his own sustenance the entire sovereignty of Pakistan, declaring it or rendering it a near vassal state at the hands of Beijing and the CCP. There's been an overwhelming response for Asim Munir. That's what many believe, and that's what is being made out to play, but he's caught in his own labyrinth. The simple question is, viewers, does he deserve to be called Field Marshal, or is he actually a failed marshal? Ambassador Rajiv Dogra is with us, Tilak Devasharji is joining us, Major Manik Jolly with us, and we also have with us at the top Ahmad Mustaqan, Baloch activist. My namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat to everybody, and trust everybody is well. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, what is this? Can you believe this? this is what the Pakistanis have stooped down to now.
Are you sure this is true, or is it a bad dream that we are seeing? Because there's no reason that even in a cuckoo land this doesn't happen. That you failed and you literally begged for mercy and sought ceasefire from India, and then as a reward
All right, welcome back. Our person of interest today is the voice behind some of your favorite hits. Now she's stepping into the spotlight in more ways than one, from remixing Bollywood chart toppers to dropping her own deeply personal debut album, Sorry I'm Late, and even making her acting debut in the last few months, first with Call Me Bae, and now we see her in Royals. Lisa Mishra is redefining what it means to be a modern multi-hyphenate.
Okay, her journey from Chicago to create a stage in India is kind of quite, something that you haven't heard of, inspiring as well to many. So whether it's a mic or a camera, she knows how to own the moment. And today she joins us to talk about music, movies and everything in between, including her latest buzzworthy project, The Royals. So please welcome the incredibly talented Lisa Mishra on the program. Hi there. How are you doing, Lisa? Firstly, lovely to have you on the program. You're having quite a moment. I want to first take you back in time and talk to us a little bit about how you actually decided to come back from Chicago. You've collaborated with sort of Chance the Rapper, Kanye West as well on All We Got. A lot of people don't know about this. So take us back in time of what was happening in Chicago before you landed here in India.
Yeah, I actually think most of that credit is owed to the American education system, because when you're really young, they start having you cultivate interests in different tracks outside of just academics. So you'll have to pick a sport, you'll have to pick something in music, maybe theater. And so I chose to sing when I was really young. And then over time, just getting exposure by being on stage more often, I got a little more confidence, and I started doing musical theater. And during high school, I was in a bunch of ensembles, musical ensembles. And I guess some of my peers from that remembered and asked me to come in to sing for this Chance the Rapper song. And it was just, honestly, it was a lot of luck. I mean, of course, there's a lot of hard work and talent and everything else involved, but I feel very lucky that I happened to be the phone call they made to come in and track those vocals for All We Got.
Lovely.
So tell us a little bit now about that journey from Chicago to India. So your parents, for example, did they think you were, in some ways reversing the dream that they had built, by going to Chicago in the first place? What was their reaction?
No, not at all. I think we never dreamt of any of this happening because my dad is a banker, my mom is a professor, and everyone on both sides of the family either has a government job or they work in a hospital or a university or things like that. Just a normal, educated family. And we had the same wishes for me, is go get your education, get a bunch of degrees. And I was lucky that my parents were very permissive about having interests outside of school. So they never stopped me from dreaming big, but they also were very realistic, because I think it's different when you're an NRI. I think all Indians have strict parents, and we have parents that have lots of heavy expectations. But NRIs have a sense of they've given up a lot to move all the way across the world and start fresh. So it's always a matter of making sure that we are doing right by our parents' wishes for us as kids. Luckily, despite the educational pressure and everything, they always encouraged that I do music and whatever was making me happy as well.
That sounds quite lovely. But now that you are here, now that you've been around in India for a while now, doing different projects, singing and acting as well, do you think there is an advantage of having a sort of outsider perspective coming from a different country?
I think more so than an advantage, it was just I brought a lot of grit with me because you have to have that to survive in a freelance industry. And I think the benefit of having grown up there was that America is a very entrepreneurial country. A lot of people are always taking risks. They're always creating new things. So maybe the biggest advantage I had was exposure and having experienced making content online for so long because of that exposure. So it gave me a little bit of an edge because I've experienced failure really young. I've had to have the grit to deal with trolls since I was 13 when I was making YouTube videos. So maybe that's what I can say I had an advantage in.
Okay, can we get now to your music, Lisa? Because you built your name over the last few years as someone right at the forefront almost of the indie music scene. So how did you decide what your sound is going to be about? Did you want to make it Indian, American, fusion like we've come to hear recently? What was your sound?
I think I'm firmly very Indian and American, and I've been lucky to integrate both into my sound from day one. So the first exposure most people had to me was through Tarifa, which was a Punjabi song sung in an R&B style on acoustic guitar. So these aren't styles or even instruments that are native to India, but it's so basically what I just said as the advice for the Indian artists who are trying to globalize outward. I did the reverse, which was I took Western concepts but made sure that my language was Indian so that the audience here has the best exposure to it and it has the best chance of being successful for Indians.
Makes sense. Let's move on from what's happening in recording studios to what's happening on screen now. And we have to talk about the Royal moment that you're having right now. Royals is having quite a moment, topping the global viewing charts as well. You were also in Call Me Bae, if I'm not wrong. So what do you think is the secret behind these really new age sort of dramas that are unfolding on OTT?
Sure. I think the hack to creating a global success is writing relatable stories and packaging them beautifully. I think the same reason that we have such a heavy fan base of Bridgerton watchers in India is because the themes are accessible, like romance and class, and then it's beautified set in this incredible world that we otherwise wouldn't have access to. So in the same way, Royals has opened up the world of Indian royalty, and ours is real and current. So it's really amazing that we get to present this without having to take people back in time. This is royalty presented as it's living and breathing in India today. Although obviously not based on the royal families of India. We shot all of these live on location in City Palace Jaipur, in Samod Bhavan, in all these incredible forts all across Rajasthan. So I think that helps a global audience feel like they're being transported to a completely new world. And while they have these really great, familiar, relatable themes of power, romance, and all the things that we love that make a good entertainer.
But there are some, Lisa, who say that India needs to get over its obsession with royals, that we just still talk about royalty even though as a country we need to move on. What would you say to them?
I think that's twofold. I think it's a good thing to be fascinated by and proud of what wealth and luxury India has and has had. I think the global sort of image of India benefits from that because it takes us away from this perpetual image of an impoverished or uneducated country, which we definitely have more to give than that. So one, it's doing that. And then the other thing is that we do tackle it really well in the series by saying that, modern day CEOs and tech giants are richer than royal families in India or around the world have ever been. So it's a fun play on the fact that, some of the rituals and lifestyles and habits and even the luxury of it all could be a little archaic, but nothing that we shouldn't be proud of and, happy to show off to the rest of the world that we also have had these incredible histories and lived well and continue to live well.
All right, then. Talking about royals, we can not talk about Zeenat Aman and what an incredible thing it was to actually see her back on screen. It's been talked about for so long. Could you share some moments, some snippets of what was it like working with her?
I think, like you said rightly, all of our parents' generation, everybody is a massive Zeenat Aman fan. And rightfully so, because there is something so effortlessly graceful and cool about her, and that's still there today. She was obviously very modern for her time when she was initially launched and in her biggest years. She was always pushing the needle forward for women and modern women, and she still is. I think my biggest takeaway for spending time around her is she's so cultured, she's so intelligent. She's incredibly aware of everything that's going on, and continues to just be a progressive force. So I spent enough time around her to gain that insight, and I also learned what it takes to survive in this industry for such a long time is to be poised and patient and grateful. She was never late on set. She would never complain if it was too hot or if she was waiting too long, and she had an immense amount of patience for if a take was taking longer, if a setup was changing. She never asked to go back to her trailer and keep people waiting. So although she plays royalty, she wasn't fussy and royal about it.
How lovely. Okay, Lisa, you've talked about the importance of the way in which female friendships are depicted, and Call Me Bae and the Royals both deals with female friendships. That's one of the themes it deals with. What is your dream project when it comes to something you want to put out there into the world?
Yeah, sure. I would love to bring a series like Insecure to India, which has multiple female friendships, has 4 girls who are really close. And we've gotten close to that, but I'd like to see it become celebrated and loved at the same level that we give, other male-centric shows or themes like that. I think my ultimate dream is to have an Insecure Dil Chahta Hai starring 3 women, a flip on the bromance. I think definitely a long time coming. And I think we achieved a lot of that between me and Bhumi in Royals especially, because we wanted to show India that women work together, we root for each other, we're always, fixing each other's crowns, so to speak. And just more of that. I would love to see that in a bromance setup. Maybe 3 friends taking a road trip and finding themselves while they, also get to know each other better.
That sounds like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara and not just Dil Chahta Hai. And one day making something exactly like that with female leads?
I would love to see that. I'd love to see something like that. And why I say Insecure is because it's written by a woman, so it has that tonality that I would love to see. Royals has captured female friendship so beautifully because it was directed, produced, and written by women. And I would love to see the female gaze on all of this, rather than how men see female friendship. I'd rather present it from a woman.
All right, on that note, that's all the time we have. Lisa, thank you so much for being with us here on TBC, and good luck with everything that you're doing in the future.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on from that and let's take you to stories coming in from India and across the globe. We'll start with the latest letter that is coming from CBSE to combat rising health issues among students. The CBSE has now introduced sugar boards in Indian schools. These visually engaging displays will now educate children about the dangers of excessive sugar intake, highlighting the sugar content in common snacks and healthier alternatives.
Right, in a landmark move, Kerala has become the first state in India to introduce mandatory robotics in education from all classes. So, right from class 10 onwards, and it will impact over 4.3 lakh learners. starting from June 2nd. The subject will formally be integrated into the ICT textbook. So that's the Information Communication Technology textbook. There'll be a dedicated chapter titled The World of Robots in the first volume.
Sharmila Tagore, Simi Garewal walked the 78th Cannes Film Festival for the 1970 Satyajit Ray film, and which was actually restored over 6 years under the leadership of the American filmmaker Wes Anderson, who said that anything signed by Satyajit Ray must be cherished and preserved. The film is now playing at the Cannes Classic section.
And you're taking a look right now at Nancy Tyagi. She's the Indian fashion influencer and self-taught designer who we've had on the Breakfast Club. And she wowed onlookers once again at the Cannes Film Festival with a stunning handmade gown. Returning to the red carpet for her second year, she wore a silver dress. It was crafted from fabric sourced from Sinampur, a vibrant market in the northeast of Delhi.
Elton John has strongly criticised the UK government's proposal to allow artificial intelligence companies to train their models on copyright and creative content without guaranteed compensation, calling it theft. Now, the move is part of the Prime Minister Starmer's push to make to Britain a global AI leader of relaxing copyright laws, allowing AI to use any material legally assessed unless creators explicitly opt out.
The danger is, for young artists, they haven't got the resources to keep checking or fight big tech if there is a lawsuit or anything like that. It's criminal, and I feel incredibly betrayed. The House of Lords did a vote, and it was more than 2-1 in our favour. The government just looked at it as if to say, well, the old people, the old people like me can afford it. That's not what we're complaining about. We're complaining about people's legacy. If you've got to get rid of that and you're going to rob young people of their legacy and their income, it's a criminal offence, I think. I think the government are just being absolute losers.
All right, Elton John there sort of voicing in the opinion of so many more artists across the globe as well. But let's move on from now and shift gears to the latest in our cars and bike section. This one is the MG Windsor EV Pro, a game changer in India's affordable electric vehicle space. Is it really that car then?
Overdrive is going to be putting that to the test to see if its tech-loaded features, its impressive range, whether they actually make it a worthy contender. Take a look.
MG's Windsor has quietly disrupted the affordable EV scene in India. No grand arrival, no fireworks, just a smart little coupe from inside out. Think Netflix sleeper hit with a modest trailer and a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. With electric vehicles, you'll get a feeling that we are no longer buying cars, we are buying gadgets. We're subscribing to features, downloading apps and comparing battery specs like we used to compare power and torque figures. That shift was quite evident with MG's 3 electric vehicles, the ZS, the Comet, the Windsor, but now with the Pro variant, the car leans even harder into the gadget territory. We're talking about a bigger battery, we're talking about more tech and arguably a sharper suit as well. This is MG doubling down on their successful formula. With the Pro variant, MG isn't rewriting the story, it's just adding premium touches, a bigger battery and a tech-forward polish. But is that enough to earn it the Pro badge? Let's find out. MG's so-called Aero Glide design remains largely unchanged, and frankly, that's not a bad thing. It's clean, smart and confident without needing to wear fake muscles like some of its SUV-shaped competitors. And clearly, buyers aren't complaining. There are 3 new shades to choose from. There is a silver, a blue and this red. All of them look sharp, but this red in particular, it has that premium Chinese EV meets European minimalism kind of vibes. I think they all look great. There are a few chrome touches, but no fake sense of sportiness. This is just a Windsor that's quite literally dressed for the occasion. The 15-inch touchscreen still dominates the cabin, equal parts presence and fingerprint magnet. It can be distracting at night, and relying on screen-based controls often pulls your eyes off the road, even when you get used to them. A new white upholstery is exclusive to the Pro and makes the cabin feel airier, while black interiors are exclusive to the standard Windsor. The dual-tone interiors, they feel premium, they look upmarket. In terms of space, absolutely amazing knee room, plenty of headroom. You also get this massive glass pane, which doesn't open, it's not a sunroof, but it does fill up the cabin with a lot of light. So it adds to that sense of airiness. And they're promising business class seating. So like the Windsor, you get 135 degrees of recline, which is not exactly limousine territory, but on long distance journeys, it's enough to keep the rear seat occupants comfortable, let them catch a snooze while you enjoy a nice and silent drive. Now to go nitpicking. MG could have polished the Pro badge further. Rear AC vents should have been larger. Rear climate control wouldn't hurt. And the missing rear wash and wipe and the absence of rear window blinds feel like oversights in an otherwise comfort-oriented package. And the contouring of the seats isn't great for long-distance journeys, which is a downer considering the Pro eggs you to go longer now. One feature that the Windsor Pro gets is powered tailgate. But of course, not something that you can flaunt that often because most of us are shopping from our phone these days, not at a grocery store. And no one's really going to notice this in the mall parking lot. But should you use this space for luggage instead, the Windsor Pro has you covered because with the bigger battery, it also promises a longer range. So should you go road tripping with it, the car will support the intentions. The Windsor Pro gets a larger 52.9 kilowatt-hour prismatic battery pack, promising 449 kilometers per charge without sacrificing charging speed. The real-world numbers will of course be different unless you have mastered the art of driving like a nun. But getting between 320 to 350 kilometers shouldn't be that difficult. We did about 230 kilometers with about 40% battery still to go. So 350 kilometers on a full charge without hypermiling will certainly reduce range anxiety. It also makes it more road trip worthy and less dependent on India's still evolving charging network. MG is also doing its bit with its eHub aggregator app already crossing over 66,000 downloads, which means even non-MG users are already on board. MG's battery as a service model remains a masterstroke. Pay only Rs 12.5 lakh upfront for the car and rent the battery at Rs 4.5 per kilometer. It's a bit like buying a television at discount and then paying monthly rentals for the OTT apps. The battery as a service, that model has its own pros and cons, but it addresses one very important issue, and that is the upfront price anxiety that has stifled EV adoption in the past. And even for those who want to go all in, 17.49 lakh rupees with the discounted registration costs that you get in many states, including Maharashtra, it's not a very big ask in my opinion, especially for an EV that gives you this kind of range, this kind of space, and this kind of tech. With a bigger battery, what's also gone up is the weight, about 93 extra kilos. And you will probably only notice it on bad roads. Like a typical EV, you can feel the weight in the belly of the car. But between the standard and the Pro, you will not really notice that 93 kg weight difference all that much. What does remain similar is the handling. It still has plenty of vertical movement when you're driving on winding roads like these. It's something that the car and the occupants doesn't like too much. Switchbacks, winding roads, not this car's forte. The brakes, never really a complaint on the Windsor, and that continues with the Pro as well. The brakes are quite nicely calibrated. The suspension has also been calibrated for the additional weight of the battery pack, but ride quality overall still remains the same.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Khan back then was the president and appointed himself field marshal. Here, an Asim Munir is being appointed by the cabinet and by the prime minister, rank of field marshal. Please note this. He is not from any official military academy. He finished the careers, literally, that's what's reported, of 20 lieutenant generals. He forcibly removed, incarcerated and elected leader, a sitting prime minister in Imran Khan. Imran's close aide said that the Pakistan Democracy Act introduced in the US Parliament had recommended sanctions against Asim Munir for visa restrictions and asset freeze. Munir wants to take control of Pakistan before November 2025 to save himself from this bill. Pak Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif remains a puppet in the hands of Munir. Who was in the driving seat and who had the steerings of the nation is very clearly seen. This man has been nicknamed the deceiver by his batchmates when he was a major or a junior officer. He was referred to, or he's continuously referred to in the military circles in Pakistan as Chachu Whiskey and erstwhile elsewhere as Mullah Munir. In these military circles, this is reported. He led Dehshatgardi in Vardi in areas like Balochistan, Waziristan, Pakhtunistan, Sindh, POK. ये जो दहशतगर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है, is a coinage which continues under his leadership in these regions. He tarnished the code of the uniform by equating it with service to religion rather than service to nation. You ask any person who's donned the uniform across the world would say we serve the country, not a particular religion, but this man changed that code. He spewed bigoted political venom and further insulted the uniform. Asim Munir could not prevent the Baloch Liberation Army capturing the Manguchot town in Balochistan. He could do nothing in the Jafar Express hijack when his own personnel were taken hostage. There are visuals of how the Pakistan army was battered at the hands of the BLA during the Jafar Express hijack incident. He saw patronized terror infrastructure demolished under Operation Sindoor. He moved or was moved to a bunker for 2 hours as 11 air bases were pounded, 20% of the entire armed forces infrastructure decimated in less than 25 minutes.
Welcome back. It's time now to take you through what's happening in the world of money control.
All right, we take you now to a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's take a look first at markets, where GIFT Nifty trends are indicating a muted opening for Indian stock markets. US stock markets closed lower on selling in shares of technology companies. Crude oil prices rose in morning trade on geopolitical tensions between US-Iran and supply concerns. Gold prices are holding steady as demand for safe haven assets remains very firm.
Let's look at the sector in focus this morning. Now, we've spoken a lot about defense sector, and this one is also on that. Operation Sindoor is a validation of India's defense procurement's localization policies. Now, multi-decadal opportunities are unfolding across critical defense segments, from sort of shipbuilding to even drones. Defense PSU stocks have also sharply rallied on positive sentiment. Even after the rally, they offer strong revenue sort of visibility as well, supported by orders in hand. You can also log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's defense sector and various other actionable insights on the markets. It's a premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control.
All right, and with that, we are drawing today's show to a close. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching.
And if you have any ideas, any suggestions on what you think we should pick up on the breakfast class, please do write into us. Our feedback numbers and handles are popping on the screen. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Bye-bye.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Khan